Hey guys, it's Rick Shaw here. It's the 9th of June, and we got some good things happening coming up here. We got our friend Tropical Tim and his beautiful wife Ray are going to be coming to visit us. We're really looking forward to that. And that's just going to be a really good thing. That's going to be something else because out of a lot of people I've met in my life, he's one of the nicest guys I ever met. And if his wife is, I'm sure she's just like him, we're going to get along famously. Yeah, that's my boy. But I went ahead today. We had rain spitting on and off, so I had it covered. But I went ahead and I had to do some minor adjustments on the bike. I adjusted the brakes because I like them tight. I like them, so they're right up at the top. And if I have to squeeze really hard, I can get a handful of brake. I adjusted the mirrors. I got those. I'm going to adjust this a little bit more. These mirrors are fantastic. I'm not in the way on them. They're out, but Yamaha does a weird thing. They have one goes one way and one goes the other. I don't know why they just don't do the same threads on both of them. But I adjusted the handlebars up a little bit. That got the mirrors a little higher, and it's looking really good. It's super good. This is a carburetor on there. Yamaha, their tuning fork logo on there. I don't know if you can see that tuning fork. Well, they do have this thing tuned fantastic. Riding it, there's absolutely no vibration that I feel coming through it, no matter how I'm driving it. It's not going to tire you out. I like my handlebars forward a little bit. Some people like their arm bent like this. I like mine forward a little bit. That way, if you got a wind hitting you in the chest, it's just easy to hang on. And it doesn't fatigue me so much in the neck. But one of the things that's you guys will find out here in the Philippines what happens with this. We got the bike, and the girl said they're going to send us in a month the ORCR. So now I cannot ride it out of the development because they'll, if I get stopped, they're going to take the bike because I don't have an ORCR. Now, she did say she's going to try to get it as quickly as she can, and she'll send it to my phone, and we can print it out, and then I can drive it. But it could take, she said it could take the whole month in order to get it. So, they tell you 1 month or 500 kilometers to do the first service and the oil change and all that. And that kind of sucks. I'd like to be running into town. I need to go to the bank again. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I can't take it that way because they have checkpoints and they stop motorcycles, all of them. So that kind of sucks. And they stop you both ways, so I can't really ride it there. If I head towards Padre Garcia, there's none down that way. And if I do see one up ahead, I'll just turn around. But it kind of sucks that it's that way. I wish they would just give you, an ORCR right then. I don't know why LTO doesn't have the plates right at the dealership. When a dealership says, okay, we've got 10 bikes coming in, give them 10 plates or give them 20 plates. And then they do the paperwork on it and turn it into LTO, and you're ready to go. Everything's fine. But it's not done that way here. LTO has to do it instead of the dealer. So it's just, to me, it's strange. So we just got to deal with it. Another thing that's really weird here when you go to do the registration, when I had the Rouser that I bought in 2013, never got a plate to this day. No plate, nothing. And so that's just really silly. And when I went to do the year, after I had it for a year, I had to go in and you pay your registration fee and you got to do smoke belching. And I was waiting in line, and there was a couple bikes in front of me. One bike was smoking really bad, and they put it on the smoke belching, and it's puffing smokes. So what they did, they just shut it off and then took the picture. So it's just a money thing. They don't care if it billows smoke or not. They do not care here, which is kind of sad. Some of these tricycle guys are running 40-year-old Yamahas, 2-strokes. They don't buy 2-stroke oil. They take used jeepney oil. They go to these jeepney centers that get their oil changed, and they get the old oil, and they have an old rag, and they stick it in the tank. They put the gas in their tank, and then they pour they pour this used motor oil in there, and they shake it up, and these things just billow smoke. You get behind them, they're just puffing smoke like crazy. So here in the Philippines, they don't care. LTO doesn't give a flying hoot whether your vehicle smokes or not, because they all do it. They just shut the bike off, and they take the picture of it for the smoke belching. So, like I say, I think it's just a money thing. But this one here, I hope she gets it real soon so I can ride it. I really like it so far. My wife, one thing about her, she loves to ride the bike with me, and when she's on the back, the best thing I love about her is you don't even know she's there. She's the best back rider of anybody who ever rode on the back of a bike with me. You don't even know she's there. And she hops it today. We were getting ready to take off. I was taking her up to the guard shack, and she hopped on it. Like I say, didn't know she was there. So I got a lot of adjustments done on it. Got it more comfortable for me. The fueling on it is spot on. The thing, it's a little bit cold-blooded. You got to run the choke for a good bit before you can turn it off, otherwise it'll stall. So that's also when they're new. A lot of them are like that. So I just left the choke on for a good bit, and then I rode it around the development once I was able to take the choke off just to warm it up. I don't like to run a bike for a short sprint and not heat the oil up. I just don't go for that. You want to heat that oil up so you can burn all the crap out of it. But it is a fantastic bike for the money, guys. I don't ever just impulse buy anything. I don't. I used to have a thing with my kids. When they wanted something, I'd say, okay, and we would mark it on the calendar. And after 30 days, if they still wanted it, then we would go buy it. And I did that for the kids, so it's the same with me. And I've been thinking about getting a bike for a long time, and I don't like to get the wrong machine. My last bike I got was the Honda TMX. I had no idea that the shifter was wrong. If I'd have known that, I wouldn't have bought it. This bike here, if it would have had that goopy backward shifting on it, I would have never bought it. I would have been looking for something else. But I like this thing. It's really super. Yamaha just did an absolutely fantastic job on this bike as of right now. I'm looking at a lot of the fasteners on it are all stainless. I thought I was going to have to take off the extra shock because of being too stiff. Don't need it. Love the seat. Just absolutely. I remember years ago they used to always have these big flat seats on the bikes, and they were great. Never had to bother changing the seat out. Well, then the last few years they started making bikes with all these angles, and they would angle the seat down. And I asked a fellow one time, why are you doing that with the seats? And they said, well, that way if it's a shorter person can ride. Well, if you're a taller person and you ride, you're sliding forward like that all the time on this stupid angled seat. It's like angled like that. And it's just like grabbing your underwear and smashing your balls and everything. It just sucks. So, now it's to where you buy a bike, and pretty much any bike you buy, you got to change the seat or take it to an upholsterer. I had to do that on the Rouser, and I had to also do it on the TMX. I had to go take it to an upholsterer and get some new fabric for the top and have them build it up so it was just a straight level seat. And this one's pretty much straight level. It's not perfect, but it's real comfortable. I rode it a good bit yesterday, and I think I got 20 kilometers on it, something like that. And it just very comfortable, very comfortable bike. I don't need a big 1000 here. I'm still debating on getting one for the highway, and if I do get one for the highway, it'll be the SV650. I know it's a Suzuki because I had problems with them in the past. I actually did buy, I said I only had that one Suzuki and I didn't buy from them anymore, but I did have one after that. I bought a Marauder. It looked like a Harley Davidson. It's great. It was a nice bike, but it would backfire through the carburetor and start a fire. It ate the chain. I mean, it from brand new, it had all kinds of problems. And then they had the lemon law. And I took it in for the backfiring through the carburetor, because it would backfire through the carburetor and just blow everything up. It was like, it was just terrible. And I finally got, after, it was about 2 years, I think, the lemon law, the court ruled that they had to take the bike back. So they just took it back and gave me the money back I got for it. And I had ridden it, I rode it for a couple years, but it had problems. It ate chains and sprockets. Something about it when it was first made. I took it in the dealer and said, look at this. Within a week of riding it, and you could hear the chain when I first got it. I actually took it back the day I got it and said, there's something wrong with this. The chain is really making a lot of noise. Oh, that's normal. I said, look, check the alignment. And they did. They checked. Oh, no, it's within specifications. So I do have a hard time with Suzuki, but from what I'm seeing with the SV650, I know when I was in Europe, you saw them everywhere. And in England, messengers were running them. These guys were having 400,000 kilometers on them with no troubles at all, just running the piss out of them. The only thing I wish that manufacturers would do, and I wish they would do it like Harley, and just go with the belts. Just start putting belts on every bike. I had a belt on my Sportster, I had a belt on the Buell, and I had a belt on the Dyna Fat Bob, the 3 Harleys I owned. Never had any trouble with those belts. I didn't have to stick with them all the time. I didn't have to spray them with oil. I didn't have to do all this crap you got to do with a chain. I think a chain is, it's too old school. It's time to get rid of the chain. Just get rid of them. That's why I bought that first Suzuki I got, was because it had a shaft drive. And people say, oh, well, it takes horsepower and all that. I don't give a damn. As long as I want something, as long as it doesn't have a chain. And if I could change this to a belt, I would. Now, one thing about the SV650, there's a company that sells a kit, and it changes to a belt. You buy the kit, and it wasn't too much money. It was about, I think it was $250 that I saw last time I looked, and it's all the stuff, and you just take that piece of crap chain off and the stupid sprockets, and you throw them in the garbage, and then you put your belt on. And guess what? You ride 100,000 miles or more. I had 98,000 miles on my Sportster, and it was still on the factory belt. No problem. Now, my the Dyna Fat Bob, that was supercharged nitrous. It was a little bit harder on belts, guys, if I zoomed it. But the Buell was perfect. That was one of the first bikes I ever owned, the Buell Ulysses. That there was. I never did anything to it other than ride it. I put Polestar plugs in it. That was it. I'm one for a lot of guys like to change out the air cleaners for the K&Ns and all that stuff. I did that in the past and wound up with trouble because my O2 sensor would, not the O2 sensor, but the mass airflow sensor would get oil on it, and you're constantly, and then you got trouble, and you're constantly have to pull out and spray that off and clean it and all that. So I'm pretty much just going with factory filters, guys. I just don't mess with it anymore. Keeps the bike quieter too. The K&N filters will make them a little bit noisier. Even when I had my drag bike, the Dyna Fat Bob, I had a Bassani exhaust on that, and it wasn't loud. It was louder than a lot of bikes, but it wasn't this obnoxious loud anything. And when you were cruising on the highway and you just got to your RPM where you wanted to be and just were cruising, you didn't know. It wasn't loud. It wasn't loud at all. The Ulysses, it was very quiet. I could sneak into neighborhoods as long as I kept it under 3,500 RPM. I could just cruise around very quietly. It's when it got to 3,500 RPM, the servo would open, and then it would change something in the fuel injection, and it got growly. I mean, but it had a lot of power, 100 and some horsepower. That was a great bike. That was the finest machine out of all the bikes I've owned. And guys, if I went down the list of bikes I've owned, it's just been ridiculous. From 2016 until now is the longest time in my life I've been without a bike, other than from the time I was, when I was a little baby, I was on two wheels, like that. Always was on bikes. I don't get ticked off in traffic when I'm on a bike, because I'll fit through somewhere. And I just love the fact that I can, I'm on a machine. Yesterday when I ran up to the store up there, got my wife a couple Tanduais at the Alpha Mart, and I was coming back, and there was a big blockage on the road. They had a funeral procession. Well, on the bike, car, there was no way I could have pulled out. But on the bike, you pull out to the left and just ride on the line, and the people over in the other lane, they see you coming, they get over. They're considerate that way. And I just was able to didn't have to go fast. I'm happy as long as I'm moving. And I just cruised right along and got around all that stuff, no problem. If I was in the car, I'd been sitting in the back, no way to get around them, and that, to me, that's frustrating. So I always said, these things right here, these are like therapy for me. They're my psychiatrist. All my life, if ever I've had a tough day at work or something like that, I had looking forward to riding the bike home. I got to jump on my machine and ride home in my big toy. So that always, I would always get home with in a good temper. I was in a good state of mind because I get the giggles. Yesterday, I was grinning. I'm glad there wasn't a lot of bugs out, or I'd have been picking bugs out of my teeth. I was just happy as could be. I don't know why, but it gives me the jollies. I just get the happy. Another thing I really loved to do was water ski. That was another thing. I just get the giggles when I do it. And another thing was flying in a plane. I had an uncle that built planes in his basement. He was an absent-minded professor, though. I would go over there and help him. His own kids wouldn't help him, and I would go over to his house and help him build his planes. He would let me weld. He built these things from scratch. And some he designed himself, some were kit planes. Well, he was doing this biplane one time, and he's all out of wood. He was a master, this guy. He was really good at everything. And we're building them, and I'm helping him put rosin. We put the cloth on these wings, and we're putting this rosin on there, and we're sanding and getting it ready for paint. And I looked at him. I said, Uncle Marvin, I said, how are you going to get this out of here? Because his basement steps went up and then turned around and went up again. It wasn't a straight shot. And he looked at me, and he had to get him to come and dig a hole in his backyard, smash all the block out, and take it out that way. And then redo the block and put the... So that rose the price of his plane up a little bit. But he used to let me fly it when we would get in the airplane, and he'd take off and all that stuff. When we got up in the air, he'd let me fly it and do loop-de-loops and all kinds of stuff. He had a stick also. His stick and my stick moved at the same, and if I was doing something a little bit too far, he'd pull on that. We had a little radio headset that he used, a wired job, and because of the forces on the plane, he said you don't want to destruct your plane. So, but I learned that you don't want to do too many crazy maneuvers. But I learned how to do rolls. I did a loop-de-loop, and it was a lot of fun. It was a blast in that old biplane that he built. Well, I call it old biplane, but it was brand new. He built it. Had a Lycoming motor on it, and that was something else that just gave me the jollies. I loved doing that. But for me, $1,000 right here. It's a nice bike. I'm out riding again, and down the road I'll wind up getting another one. It's either going to be a big dirt bike or it's going to be a SV, so I can get on the highway. Time will tell. I'm not going to be in any hurry. I'll think about it. And I thought about this one for a couple years, I didn't want to get it until the house, because this was our main goal, was to get in here. And I started off today a little bit. I got the TV hung. I got that in the sound bar. I got that finally up. A really nice rack. They had racks up the True Value, and I looked at them. Well, this rack right here was expensive compared to the ones at True Value, but it's a really nice rack. It's got little pull strings to unhook it. It snaps into place. It's got an adjustment on it, and it's heavy duty. Now, they gave me 4 anchors. 4 pretty good heavy duty anchors to anchor it in the wall. Well, there was no electric in that wall, and I have anchor kit here, so I added 2 extra anchors, so that'll be pretty stout. And then I hung the sound bar, and we're going to get a computer table for there yet. And I still have to take it off the wall, maybe when Tim gets here, and then we'll take it off, and I'll go ahead and connect all the stuff up. I got the power hooked up, but I still have to get the cable pushed in for the sound bar, because I can't do it while it's on the wall. I tried. I can't get my hand in there. I would have liked it if there was a provision. I had one before when I had the Mitsubishi TV, where you could pull the TV out from the wall a good 6 inches. It had a little lever. It didn't tilt like this one, but you could pull it away from the wall, and then you got to all your fittings. And this TV, I didn't look close enough where you got to make these connections. It's just difficult to make them. When I had the Mitsubishi, it was like right there. It came out from the back, and it was right there, easy to get to, and it was close to the edge. Well, in this TV, it's real far in, and I can't get my hands in there to plug anything in. I have to take it off the wall to plug it in. I even tried tilting it out, but it's low enough to where you tilt it out, it doesn't help you at all. I tried getting on the ladder and getting it from the top. No can do. So, but it's real easy to take off the wall. There's a couple straps you pull down. Once you pull the straps down, they lock down, and then you go ahead and can take the TV and lift it up off. And then when you go to put it back, you got to push the little button so those little snap things come in, and when you hook it on the wall, you snap it into place again, and it's sturdy. It's extremely sturdy. So we're happy with that. And then I got to go do the one upstairs yet, and I still have to hang the awning. I have to put the awning up there. I might have to take that one light out. I don't know. Because the way the door is, I got to get it up as high as I can so that it clears the door and it clears the air conditioner and all, just a bunch of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I'll get that one up and get her done. But we are looking forward to Tim and Ray coming. It's real nice. We also met another real nice fellow while we were here. Was Wes, the fellow I got the pedal bike from. And it's nice for me. It's nice to meet some American folks. I love all my Filipino friends here too, but it is nice to be able to sit with somebody and have a conversation. I notice here, since I've been in Lipa, it's not like GMA and Carmona. Over there, pretty much everybody has a good grasp on English. Not here. You talk to people and their eyes just glass over. My wife was over there last night with some of these construction guys, and I was talking to them, and I had to basically use her as an interpreter. They smile and go like this and don't know a damn thing what I'm saying. So it's this is not as English friendly here compared. Now, people are very nice, don't get me wrong. We're running into just super people everywhere we go. But my wife has to talk to them, and they're humping on the houses. I'll show you what they're doing over here. They're getting this one moving right along. Guys have been working. See how they got the uprights up already for the concrete, and then they're cleaning these places out. This little house in the back. They don't know why the workmen. They just said the office told them to clean it out. So they're in there with garden hoses, and they're just cleaning it all up. I don't know if maybe the workmen are going to stay there. And I told my wife, see, they got the garden hose in there, and they're cleaning it all out. And maybe the workmen are going to stay there. That's probably what's going to happen, because they're living in a shack over there now, and it's nice here. If they're here, we can just give them coffee right here, and everything will be real good. And there's my sweetie. We're going to have something or other good to eat. She's making some corn. Yum. So that's pretty much it for today. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, but I did try to light out this morning when I got up real early and took it for a little spin. The headlight on it's great. It's not that real white one, so I'm happy with that. What's up, sweetie?
Can I ride on your motorcycle?
Yeah, we're going to ride on the motorcycle in a little bit when I get it running. Yeah, after I get it all loaded and everything, but that's where we're at today. More stuff to do. My sweetie went out and got all the vegetables and stuff. I took her up to the gate and she got all that stuff done, so we needed that. We still forgot to get some bread for the kids and stuff. I was going to make hamburgers for lunch, but no bread, so that's the way that goes. But I would love to be able to jump on the bike and ride up and get some bread, but you know, I'm afraid of getting popped in and they'll take them. They'll take the bike. It'll go in the impound. And when they take bikes in impound, go look at some of my videos way back, what they do to them. They pick them up and heave them on a pile, because if they park them in there, they can't get as many in. So if they just lay them down on the ground and throw them up on top, throw bikes up on top, laying down, they can get more bikes in an area. And it's these impound lots. It's horrible. It's like the worst gulag you could be in, because they just throw the bikes in there and they don't care. They just toss them in there. You're not supposed to ride without the papers, and if you do, that's what you get here. You know. So you got to be real careful with that. Make sure you got a copy of your RCR, guys. You don't have to have the original. Keep that home in a lockbox. Like us, we're going to buy a safe here pretty soon, and you want to keep your stuff all locked up like that, and then you have your copy. I even know a fella that has a copy of his license. When they try to take his license from him, he has a copy, and works for him. But I did ride again in the rain. And I do want to say these fenders on this thing are absolutely fantastic. I'm not one for removing fenders. I've seen a lot of guys that do it. Tail tidies. I did it on one bike. I had a 4-cylinder Honda, and it was a 400, and I had that thing bobbed and everything. And first time I rode it in the rain, I had so much dirt in the back of my hair. I had a stripe like I was a racing stripe on the back, like I was a skunk or something, because it was just all full of dirt. And after that I said, well, I won't do that anymore. So just keep the fenders on. That's the way to go. So let you go. And you guys want to say it all together? You want to say out? Bye-bye. All right, guys, don't forget to pray for each other. Rickshaw out.